Welcome to Sir Emrakul. Today I'll be telling you how to make a blue-black budget mill deck. Today we'll be starting with the lands, as we always do. We have 17 islands in here and 4 swamps. To go along that, we have 3 non-basics. We have Bajuka Bog, which ends the battlefield tapped, ends the battlefield exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Tap, add black to your mana pool. So this stops them from milling into things like hostility or anything with when it ends battlefield graveyard. Shuffle your graveyard into their library because those cards beat it. So this way you can permanently get rid of those cards. Then with Waterloo Grave, you know what it does. Island Swamp, ends battlefield, play 2 life. If you don't, ends battlefield tapped. This is a good way to get your blue or black. Sunk Hollow is pretty similar, but when battlefield tapped, unless you control 2 more basic lands. Also, Island Swamp, just another mana fixer, really. Those 2 lands you don't really need to have since they're a bit more expensive. Okay, we'll start the commons. First of all, we have Flood, just for a blue and enchantment. Blue, tap target creature without flying. This will slow down your opponents quite a lot, giving you time to mill them out. Then we have Mind Sculpt, one of the most solid mill cards of all time. 1 blue, sorcery, target opponent puts the top 7 cards of his or library. This is just a very, very solid card, and you need one of these in a mill deck. I have 4. Slow Motion, 2 and a blue. During the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller, that player pays 2 or sacrifice that creature. When slow motion is put into the graveyard from play, return it to its owner's hand. This is just a good way to just either slow down your opponents by making them pay mana, or them just losing their creatures. A very, very good enchantment. Divination, 2 blue, draw 2 cards. If your mana screws something like that, you can just cast this and you get 2 more cards. Augury Hour, 1 blue, 1/1, ends battlefield, scry 3. Just scry is very useful because you can make sure your next draw is useful, and it's just an amazing card. Memnonic Wall, 4 and a blue, creature wall, defender. When ends battlefield, you may turn target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If 4 Mind Sculpts isn't enough, why not 5? That's what I think of this card. Hooray! Good blocker as well. Google Caller's Bell, just for 1. Artifact, tap, each player puts the top card of his or library into his graveyard. Yes, you mill yourself, but that's hardly a problem when you'll be milling them much faster. And it's only 1 mana. Induced Paranoia, 2 blue, instant, counter target spell. If black was spent to play Induced Paranoia, that spell's controller puts top X cards of his or library into his or graveyard where X that spell's converted mana cost. That's very good because if you counter something with 5 mana, you also making them put the top 5 cards. It's just a very, very good card. Preordain, one of the best draw cards. Just for a blue, scry 2, then draw a card. Yeah, make sure your next draw is good and then you actually draw it then. Just a very, very good card. It's only 1 mana to cast. Tome Scour, not as good as Mind Sculpt, I don't think, but sorcery just for a blue. Target puts top 5 cards of his library to his graveyard. Still pretty good milled card just for 1 mana. Curse the Body Tome, 2 and a blue. Enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player puts the top 2 cards of his library into his or her graveyard. Just every go they'll be milling themselves, so eventually you'll win. And when you got 4 of them on them, all hell breaks loose. Thought Scour, another good draw card. Instant, target player puts top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, draw a card just for a blue. This is very common in Delve decks where you just use it on yourself, but I use it in here because it's just a good draw card. Shriekhorn, 1, when ends battlefield, put the 3 charge counters. Tap, remove a charge counter from Shriekhorn, target player puts top 2 cards. So really this is a 1 mana, target player puts top 6 cards. Very useful. Or any other way of proliferating? Oh, that's good. I don't know. Brainstorm, Restrict and Vintage, a very, very powerful card, just for blue. Draw 3 cards and put 2 cards in your hand on top of your library in any order. It's just unbelievable, this card. You can just put 2 cards you don't really need at the moment just on the top of your library and you'll just get 3 cards that you need. It's very useful. Uncommons, start off with Toma's Crypt. Just very suited to mill decks. Just for 0 mana, tap, sacrifice it to exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Stops them from shuffling their graveyard into the library and just beating you. Mind Funeral, 1 blue-black, sorcery, target opponent reveals cards from the top of his library until 4 land cards are revealed. That player puts all cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. You can mill them a lot. Yes, when I do it, it's usually just 4 cards I put in because they're all lands, but this can go up high, like 20 cards. Very good. Quite expensive as well, though. Hedron Crab, another very good 1-drop. 0/2 landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or graveyard. Obviously, this is like every go they put the top 3 cards. One of the best creatures I have in this deck. Very good. Jace's Phantasm. If mills don't work with you, why don't you just beat them up with a 5/5 fly for 1? Because it's a 1-drop, 1/1, flying, gets +4/+4 as long as the opponent has 10 or more cards in his or her graveyard. You can get this as a 5/5 turn 3 if you have a Mind Sculpt and Tome Scour or something. It's just very useful. And I have 2 of them, of course. Necromantic Summons, 4 black, put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Spell Mastery, if there are 2 more instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard, that creature enters the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Obviously, this is good because if you make the mill a really good creature, big one, you can just put it onto the battlefield under your control, and you'll probably have 2 more instant sorceries, so it'll get 2 +1/+1 counters. Very good. Fogbank, just a good blocker, 1 blue, 0/2. Defender flying, prevent all combat damage to be dealt to Fogbank. Just can slow your opponents down from attacking and stuff like that. Very good. Wall of Frost, another very good blocker, one of the best. 1 blue, 0/7. Defender, whenever Wall of Frost blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Better hope they don't have a Critical Transmuter, huh? Jokes. Very good blocker, 2 of them. Vanishment, 4 blue, put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library, Emrakul blue. You can put one of their permanents on top of their library and then just mill it from them. Very good card. Now to the rares. Flooded Shoreline, blue, return 2 islands you control to owner's hands. Return target creature to owner's hands. Just slow down your opponents. I mean, you don't need too many lands, so you can just do this pretty much often. And it'll just slow their opponents down because they won't be able to attack with that go. Increasing Confusion, X blue, target player puts top X cards of his library into his or graveyard. If Increasing Confusion was cast from a graveyard, that player puts twice that many cards into his or graveyard instead. Flashback, X blue. I quite often just make X 0 and put it in my graveyard and flashback it. If you do it for like 6, that's 12 cards right there. It's very powerful. Grind Clock, 2. Tap, put a charge counter on it. Tap, target player puts top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of charge counters on Gridlock. It can get maybe 4 counters, that's where you want to start using it, and that's just 4 every go, isn't it? Consuming Aberration, this is a very solid card in this deck. 3 blue, black. Consuming Aberration's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards, which should be quite high. Whenever you cast this spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a land card, and puts those cards into his or her graveyard. Obviously, you get huge, and yeah, very good in this deck. Memory Erosion, 1 blue. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player puts top 2 cards of his or her library into his or graveyard. So whenever your opponent plays a spell, 2 more cards. Very, very good cards. And it's only 3 mana. Finally, last but not least, definitely not least. Whoops, what's that on top of it? Ugh. Oh, we got a streaker. Oh dear. Killed it. Still there, isn't it? Oh, great. Una, Queen of the Fae, 3 blue-black hybrid, legendary creature, fairy wizard, flying, X blue-black hybrid, choose a colour, target opponent exiles top X cards of his or her library. For each card with a chosen colour is exiled this way, put a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying on battlefield. So every go you can mill up to like 6 cards, and if you get lucky, that's up to 6 fairies that you can just beat your opponents down. It's a 5 by itself. Very good cards. Well, thanks for watching. This is definitely an affordable card. So tomorrow I think I'll be coming out with an Alliance booster pack, and leave comments what type of decks you want me to build next. Thanks for watching. See ya.